A lot of people think that Native Americans didn't contribute very much to our society because they think that, like a lot of the movies would show, they were savages and therefore they didn't contribute much except to fight and run around in war paint and on a horse. And of course we didn't have horses before the Europeans came here, and we didn't have a lot of other things too, like pigs, and didn't have bees. Most of the pollination was done by butterflies, which we called Willowpunso wagon, which was a blessing. And didn't have so many other things, including a lot of diseases too. Therefore, things were a little bit better. One of the contributing factors to the world's society as far as food is concerned is corn, maize. And a lot of times when you look at the contributing foods that Native Americans contributed to the world food market was essentially, if you look at Mexican food, except for the flour tortillas, the rest of it was ours. The tomatoes, the beans, the peppers, cotton, and rubber, and just on and on and on, all kinds of things, berries and pistachios, and all of these were developed in America and what we call Mesoamerica, which of course is South America and Central America too. It's quite a remarkable place. You know, at that particular time, it must have been wonderful because there were buffalo, which the United States government decided they wanted to kill them all, and thank heaven they didn't all die, that lived on the Great Plains. And these buffalo that lived on the Great Plains would travel all the way from Canada down to Mexico and just about everywhere they were. And as they would travel, this was the food, this was the life source for Native Americans for tens of thousands of years. And these buffalo herds were gigantic, just huge. Native people didn't have a Napoleon or Alexander the so-called Great or anything like that. And somehow when they glorify, like Alexander the Great, oh, he's such a great man. Well, he's a murderer on a massive scale. He should be on the same annals as Hitler and Stalin and all that. Anyway, that's another story. Well, the story that I started to tell was the story of the corn. Back in the day, corn was grown in a round circle or sometimes in rows. And what happened was, when the corn was grown, it would be grown, and there would be a little hill made where a person would watch the crops, and up the corn would grow beans, and then on the bottom would grow squash. And it was the three sisters. And as these would grow, the person who was the crop watcher would walk through and shake the tassel of the corn, and they would get pollen all over themselves. That was considered sacred. What happened was, during ceremonies and also during births, they would take a little bit of corn and they would give it to the child, or they would use pollen as far as something that was very sacred. And what was believed was essentially that corn never dies, and the spirit of humans never dies either. So therefore what happened to the corn was, if you take a corn that is an old corn and you plant it in the ground, what happens? New corn comes up. So theoretically the corn never dies. Corn was sacred to the Native American people, and it was grown clear from Canada all the way down to Central America and even into South America too. Quite a remarkable crop, and it's the gift to the people of the world from Native American people. Thank you.